Girl, winter is so last season. And now spring's got you looking at pictures of tank tops with hungry eyes. Your algorithm is feeding you cutoffs. You're thirsty for the sun on your shoulders. That perfect hang on the patio sundress. Those sandals you can wear all day and all night. And you've had enough of shopping from your couch. Done hoping it looks anything like the picture when you tear open that envelope? It's time for a little in-person spring treat. It's time for a trip to Ross. Work your magic.
I'm Jessica, and this is Daebak K-Rambles, where a couple of friends review Korean dramas, and we're here for the final Spooky Season episode of 2023, and we're here with a ghost story. It's finally happening. We're on brand for the final episode. My guest is dancing. My guest today is Lola from Lola Pops Off About K-Dramas. How are you, Lola?
Hello, I'm doing well and super excited to be on this episode talking about spooky things.
Yeah, so what happened was I asked you if you had seen Revenant because I saw that you had covered it on one of your episodes where it was like a bunch of different shows. I don't know how you do this because you cover so many shows. And I had seen like Revenant pop up and I was like, oh, did she ever finish that show? So I asked you and you were like, yeah, I actually did. And I was like, perfect. Are you willing to come on to do this episode sort of last minute for me? Because I usually plan things out.
It was fine, though.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. And so we're here. We're going to talk about this ghost story on the pod. Let's do it. But before we do, if this is your first time listening, go ahead and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and many more. And if you like us, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts. That goes such a long way for listeners like you to find us. Come check us out on social media to stay up to date on everything that I'm doing. Twitter, well, X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at Daebak Pod. And lastly, if you're a fan, please consider becoming a patron because it's a great way for you to get involved and show your support, get a bunch of extra content. You can check out the page on patreon.com/alwayscriticpod. Lola, we're going to have to figure out another way to do this because we're getting too many patrons. This is a marathon for me to say thank you so much for our patrons. Curtis, Bale, Cindy, CD, Alana, Grace number 1, Lorna, Lee, Sammy, Caitlin, Michelle, Tenmei, Adya, Aram, Aaron, and Grace number 2. You guys are wonderful. I love chatting with you guys and bringing you guys the best content. It's a nice little community over there, but man, it is getting to be a mouthful to say all these names in the podcast. All right. So Lola, are you ready to talk about this ghost story?
Yes, I am ready.
All right. So I'll give us the drama bean synopsis. I went with the drama bean synopsis because the MDL synopsis and the Asian wiki synopsis did not make sense. It was incoherent.
Oh, yes. The Asian wiki one was horrible. And I used that one in my episode, and I had to clean it up. Myself.
Because it just didn't make... Okay, beside the point. Here's the synopsis. Here we go. Yes. A literature professor whose mother was once killed by a demon recognizes the same demon in a young woman. As she slowly realizes that she's being possessed and horrible things start to happen around her, they team up with a police investigator to free the woman from demonic control. If you just switch demonic to straight up ghost, that's it. That's the show.
Yeah, I don't know why they use demon. Yeah, I was like ghosts.
It's Ghost. And it's very clear delineation in the show that it's Ghost. So this aired just this year from June to July 2023. I think it was a little early for this.
Too early.
Yeah.
Way too early.
Yeah. It all should have been in the fall, not in the summer, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it has to do with in South Korea, they believe in the dead of summer, the hottest time of the year, you're supposed to watch scary things or do scary things to relieve yourself of the heat. I feel like I've heard that somewhere in all my watching of K-drama stuff or just Korean television.
Be the case.
I think I heard that. Because I realized that I think maybe Running Man, they would always do their scariest haunted house episodes in the summer. And I think that's where it comes from. I don't know. I'm just saying that, but it seems early for us for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's only 12 episodes long, and it was directed by Lee Jung-lim, who has directed VIP from 2019 and nothing else. Literally not a single other thing this person has done. That's incredible. I think that's incredible. But the writer's famous, Kim Eun-hee, wrote it. And she's written things like All Seasons of Kingdom on Netflix, which is a zombie K-drama, saga K-drama. It's amazing. Highly recommend it. She's written Sign, Phantom, 3 Days, Signal, one of the best K-dramas of all time. GD-san recently, which I heard mixed things about, but this is a big name for the writing.
Huge name.
Yeah.
Huge name. Signal was enough. Like, you didn't have to get to anything else, and you're like,
you're right.
Signal. Got it.
You know what else is stacked? This small cast that we have is also pretty well regarded, right? You have Kim Tae-ri as San-young, the main lead. And she's been in 7 movies, including The Handmaiden. I always love bringing up The Handmaiden.
Of course, yes. As you should. As you should want to. Oh, my goodness. The glorious The Handmaiden. Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. We actually reviewed The Handmaiden on the Patreon feed. Me and Miguel, who's been on the podcast before, we watched it. We just laughed our way through that review because, I don't know, like... It felt sometimes you talk about a show or a movie and you feel sort of embarrassed and giddy as if you watched it with a parent. Giddy.
Yes, embarrassed. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm like blushing. I'm blushing talking about this, and I shouldn't be. I am an adult. I can talk about this without blushing, but no, you can't.
That's exactly how that episode went for the Patreon feed with The Handmaiden. So yeah, another reason to jump on the Patreon feed. But anyway, she's done a bunch of movies, not that many, like just a few, and then not that many like TV shows either, really. She did Mr. Sunshine, which was a big one.
Huge.
I say big, it's huge, which we've covered on the podcast. And 2521 from 2022. Bro, yes! We're both like dancing over
great. I know, the great 2521.
Yeah, what a great drama, bro. So both of those have episodes on the feed. You could say that this is a Kim Tae-ri podcast. A little bit.
I love that.
Yeah. Now, she stars opposite Jung-se, who plays Yeom Hae-sang, who is the folklore professor. I think the synopsis said he was a literature professor. He's a folklore professor.
Folklore.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's been in a ton of things, 55 movies, 30 plus shows. You might have seen him in The Call on Netflix, which is a movie. Also very on brand for spooky season. If you like Signal, you will like The Call, I guess. Because it's a very spooky serial killer version. Well, not that Signal doesn't have serial killers, but yes. Watch The Call. And then his shows, like you've seen him in so many things, but here are some of the shows that I have here in my notes. I have I Miss You, which was traumatizing. Marry Him If You Dare, one of the most terrible K-dramas I've ever seen. Missing 9. I don't know if you watched this one from 2017.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so
I skipped it.
So I remember watching it as it was airing. And the problem was it was like a Lost scenario. They were trapped on an island after a plane crash. Yep. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be really good. They had like a bunch of intrigue. And then just like the show Lost, it just crashed and burned. Like it was like bad. It was
like
so
the
bad.
actual plane.
It was just a bad show. And then, but he rebounded, right? Like he's had really good projects in recent years. When the Camellia Blooms from 2019, which I really appreciate that show. We covered it on the podcast. Hot Stove League, which I've heard endless good things about that show. It's Okay to Not Be Okay, which he was tremendous in that show. Doesn't matter like how you necessarily feel about the show. He was amazing in that show. And then Little Women from last year, Sweet Home is coming up. Sweet Home 2 and 3. He's in the second and third seasons of Sweet Home on Netflix, which we've covered season 1 of Sweet Home just a few episodes back if you want to listen to it. So how do you feel about these two people? Like Kim Tae-ri
and Jung-se and Kim Tae-ri. I'm a huge Kim Tae-ri stan. I like to say I'm a stan. I ride for her. I think when I originally talked about this drama, The Revenant, I said the only one who could get me to watch a horror drama would be Kim Tae-ri. So I adore her. She is enough to convince me to watch a horror K-drama. And then Jung-se, absolutely love him. And I thought it was interesting that you brought up I Miss You when you said traumatizing.
It is.
The best way to describe that drama was absolutely traumatizing.
Yeah.
But yes, I've loved him since I've seen him in things. He's a scene stealer to me. Like in some of the things he's been in, he can come out of the woodwork and you're like, oh my goodness, he's totally stealing the show for me right now.
Yes.
So I absolutely adore him as well, for sure.
Love it. I think this is a newcomer. Hong Kyung plays Jung-se. This is the cop character. I had never seen him before. This was my first time. Well, not my first time, because I've seen him in bit parts in other shows, right? So he was in Rain or Shine, aka Just Between Lovers. I don't remember that man at all. He's in Life on Mars, which Curtis from Infatuation Podcast, shout out to him because he loves that show and recommends it every time I talk to him about K-dramas. He's like, have you seen Life on Mars yet? I have not. Also,
I have not either.
Okay, so we're both in the same boat. We're both in the same boat. So we also have Liv from 2018, which came up recently for me because I was on the Infatuation Pod K-drama draft episode, and someone chose it for their pick, one of their draft picks. And I was like, oh, cool. Never heard of it. Got to put that on the list. That's 3 years long. He was also, Hong Kyung was also in DP, which we covered a couple of episodes ago for Spooky Season, Lovers of the Red Sky, and Weak Hero Class 1. Had you seen this dude before?
So, yes, like you, I've seen him kind of like, I don't remember him in Live. Like, I remember that I watched that drama, but I don't remember him in that.
Right, that's the thing.
I watched him I watched DP, didn't remember him in DP. I started Lovers of the Red Sky and then dropped it. Kind of remembered him in Lovers of the Red Sky, kind of, but not much. And then Weak Hero Class 1 was one of my top K-dramas of last year. And he was one of the reasons. I absolutely loved Weak Hero Class 1. Highly recommend it if you can stomach bullying and violence. But he in there, the entire cast was amazing. And so I pinned him as someone to keep an eye out for, because obviously I wasn't paying attention to him before. But that was another motivator for me to watch The Revenant, was him, because I had told myself I want to keep an eye on him and check out any new things that he would be in. And so when I saw him in here with Kim Tae-ri, I was like, okay, I can see him in something else. And he's not playing a high school student. So it was really exciting to jump in to see him in this.
Oh, that's so great to hear. I think we have a couple other veterans that I'll just shout out real fast. We have Kim Hae-suk, who plays Byung-ki. She is the grandmother of, I was going to say Sangtae, but that's not his name here. That's his character in It's Okay to Not Be Okay. No, she plays Hae-sang's grandmother.
Yes.
And then, grandmother. And then Park Ji-young plays Kyung-moon, who is Kim Tae-ri's mom in the show. And then Kim Won-hae, the great Kim Won-hae, plays Mon-chun, who is the other cop in the show. So, what did you think of this show? I don't think I know how you feel about Revenant at all. I have no inkling.
You have no idea. Okay,
No.
So I did go ahead briefly mention that I don't watch horror. That's not my forte. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of it. And I haven't watched a horror K-drama in years. I'm going to be honest with you.
Wow.
So this was a really big feat for me. I was very, very impressed with myself that I even started the drama, let alone finish it. And like I said, I had 2 reasons to start it, which was Kim Tae-ri and Hong Kyung, since he's a developing crush, I must say. And I was terrified. The opening alone of the drama was too much for me. So I had to like fast forward it, not because I was trying to hurry to the episode, but because I was just too afraid to sit through the actual opening of this drama. So that's how I felt. I was terrified. The opening episodes, I was so scared. But then there was a moment in the drama where it wasn't as scary anymore. And we'll talk about why I felt like it wasn't as scary after a certain point. And I want to say I actually liked it by the end of it. I have to say I actually liked it. And as someone who's not a big horror fan, I think I may have been coming at it and being a little bit more gentle with it than maybe someone else who's used to horror things and really enjoys horror. So I think I was being really soft on it and be like, oh, I actually like this. But there were some glaring kind of like issues that I had with it. And it had a lot to do with like that middle of the drama. So it was like the beginning, I really enjoyed. Then there was something that kind of went awry in the middle for me. And then right at the end, I was like, okay. And then I summed it up as me being like, oh, I think I liked it. I think that's how I came away with my feelings for The Revenant. It's like, I think I liked it. I was able to sit through it. It was a horror drama. So I thought that was really, enough for me to say I liked it, but I made it to the end.
Wow, I kind of feel the same way as you. It's not that I'm watching horror all the time, but I think that I'm more comfortable with thrillers, and I don't will never watch possession stories.
I know, me
that
too.
Is
like,
my line that I don't cross.
I know. It's like, I said that in my episode, I talked about this in my initial like thoughts on it. I said like, miss me with anything about demons and ghosts possessing people. Like that is my forte. Like that's not my forte. That's where I also am like, I steer far away from that. Right. And so again, it was Kim Tae-ri. Like she's the only reason I watched this drama. She was the only reason.
Yeah. I agree with you that the beginning and the end of the show are the best. The middle episodes, it's not that they're saggy. It's that they're... Yeah. It's almost like they try to do a little like ghost story of the week. They had to solve a little something so that they could get to the next stage of their own like ghosts that they're dealing with. And exactly. I don't think it necessarily worked for me because I just ended up getting confused. I was like, how does this relate back to the original Ghost? And how is this gonna resolve itself? Why are they... It feels like they're wasting time, or I don't know. It just didn't... There was something about it, and I still don't know what it is, that I was like checked out a little bit about it. Yes. Okay, cool. But the show
on the same page.
Oh, yeah, we're on the same page. But I think that the show does a really good job of building a steady, stylish sense of dread throughout that will keep you sort of on edge and coming back, even though you're not. This is not a typical horror show, which I've watched horror shows, right? I literally was watching, what's it called? Oh my God, I forgot the name of the show, but it's the one on Netflix, Haunting of Hill House. Do you know that one?
Oh gosh, no, thank you.
Okay, so because my sister is evidently...
I know of it, yes, okay, I know of it.
Evidently, I'm living with a horror fan because she's watching everything that the director/writer of Haunting of Hill House has put out currently. Oh, gosh. And so I'm like rewatching it with her, and I was like, this is totally different than how Revenant is, right? How this one was put together. In the West, we rely so much on ambiance and jump scares, right? Yes. This is not that show at all. Yes, it has that dark cinematography, but I can watch this during the day. Like this is like, and still be able to see the screen
during the day. I watched it early in the morning, so I didn't have any issues when I went to bed at night.
Oh no, I just mean, well, that too, but I just mean that it's not so dark. Like when you watch it, cinematography wise, it's not so dark that you have to watch it at night. Otherwise, the glare from the sun is too much, and you're not going to be able to see anything on the screen. Yes. So that I appreciate that. They didn't. What's another example of them doing that in the West? Oh, like any battle in Game of Thrones that happened at night. Like, you're like, well, I guess I have to watch this at night in a pitch dark room because otherwise I'm not going to be able to see anything on the screen. So things like that.
That's so true.
Yeah, yeah. Unless you see it, then you're like, oh, I can't see anything. So I guess I need to create a condition to watch this show. It's not like that for Revenant. The cinematography is not that rude, but it does present this sort of mystical world that is very threatening at night, like because of the way it's set up, the lore and everything. The nighttime is gonna be where shit goes down, basically. But
yes,
I appreciated it. I appreciated it that it was also shrouded in a lot of ambiguity. Mm-hmm. I think I'd learned to appreciate it. I don't think it was necessarily my favorite thing. That so much was like, oh, we thought it was this and instead it's that, and what's the significance of this? Well, in this book that my dad wrote, it's about this and this means that, and what do these numbers mean? Oh, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was very like,
yes,
clues and mystery, and if you're not into that, that's not your bag, then I'm sorry, like, Revenant is not for you. Because it was very much a mystery thriller.
It was. I completely agree. I think for me, a lot of the horror did come in the early episodes and the end.
Correct.
That middle part was really, like you just said, it was kind of like, it was just like a thriller, mystery. When are we going to find out the next clue? I mean, we literally, in this drama, are looking for items, objects, like clues, you know, so it's scavenger hunt. So I completely agree that there was a big chunk of the drama that felt like it wasn't as scary. It wasn't as horror founded or based. And I think another thing that I liked about this drama, which I don't know, I think it may be something that's kind of like signature to the writer, where I feel like she has this way of making sure that things are really grounded in history, you know. Obviously Kingdom is a seiyuu, but like that's one of her fortes. So I feel like one of the highlights of this drama is the way that they kind of go back in time a little bit and they pull out these rituals and you know, these ideas like exorcisms and how that ties to folklore and kind of Korean folklore. And so I ended up really enjoying that element, and I think, again, to me, that was more, I mean, that's throughout the whole drama, because like, even like you said, the ghost of the day, that was a part of it. Like, some of the ghosts were these ghost types that you would find in these lores, in the lore. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But again, did it go on too long? Did we have too much of that? Yeah, I think we did.
And the thing is, the show is tight at 12 episodes, but maybe it could have been 10? 8?
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
I don't know.
I was thinking, I think when you told me that we were going to talk about this, we were like, you asked me to talk about this drama, I, for some reason in my head, thought it ended at 8 episodes. Like, I was like, oh, I just have to go over 8 episodes. And it was like, no, actually there's 12. So I think my mind chopped out a lot of this drama when I was going back over it. And again, absolutely. I think they're a big chunk of it is half the drama. So,
right.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about some of these details. Maybe that the part that
you're gonna have to help me on it, because I try and block some of that stuff out. Like, as soon as I watch it, I'm like, that's too much to remember. Yes. I'm gonna just chalk it up to the, like, I summarize in my head and then that's all I remember.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was 8 episodes. I completely deleted episodes from my mind. So.
I think what kept me going as well was the performances from Kim Tae-ri and Jung-se. I thought they were tremendous. I thought they were amazingly talented in this show. And Kim Tae-ri playing dual parts, basically, with her and her other version, I guess you could say.
Yes.
Really unique how she juxtaposed them and how she created two wildly different characters. And you just knew from her posture, her body language, from which hand she was using, that it's a different person. It's not San Young, the main lead at this juncture. And then Oh Jung-se as well, an entire like crises he goes through in this show, and I appreciate him. Like, I just think he's one of the best actors of his generation.
I love that. And I completely agree. I can see that. Absolutely. I actually thought it was unique not even unique. one of the other draws for me for starting this drama was that actually the poster for the release, the poster they released for this.
Let's talk about it.
It was Kim Tae-ri and her kind of dual characters that she's kind of presenting in this drama. And like you said, amazing performance. But in the poster, a still image alone, you're able to see the way she's able to clearly show the difference. Like her as this young girl struggling to survive and, you know, her day-to-day life. And then this girl possessed, like in one still image. And so if you see that in just that poster, I was like, oh my goodness, I can only imagine how her performance is going to be in this drama. So I was talented. super impressed by her performance. I completely agree with you. Hands down, she did such, and there were even points where like the characters themselves, they would have problems or trouble distinguishing between who she was in the moment. And I was like, I'm with you. I don't know who she is either. And so again, just so stand out. And I love that they even used her performance and how amazing it was for the characters themselves to call attention to it in a way. And so I thought that was really unique and cool. And like I said, Jung-se, amazing. And weirdly, I associate him a lot with comedic performances. So,
really?
I don't know why. I think that's those are the performances I remember most of his, or like that I enjoyed the most. I don't know, but so seeing him in this role, I was just so like, serious. It's so serious, and quieter than I'm used to. I felt he was so much quieter than I'm used to, and subtle. There was something very subtle about his performance, and I was super impressed by it. I was like, oh my goodness. I think I needed to see him like this to kind of like remind me of the kind of actor that he actually is and his range. Not that I've forgotten necessarily, but it was a nice refresher to be like, oh yeah, this is what he does on screen. This is it. He has range. And so I really loved it.
This might be just me, but like he was very attractive.
He looks so good in this. Yeah, I'm not used to calling him attractive, to be honest. But yes, I completely agree with you. And that's why I said something very like muted and subtle about him. And it kind of was very sexy. I have to say. I know. It was.
The black turtleneck?
Yeah, the black turtle. I think I have a thing for professors, so I think I also was a little bit inspired by that. So the folklore professor with the turtleneck and the little blazer jackets, and it was nice. He was actually, showing up today. I was like, okay.
I know. Like every time he took out the blazer and he was just there in his turtleneck, I was like, hold on.
The turtleneck? We have the turtleneck. Oh, the blazer off. Yes, I agree. I'm not one to usually call him out for being, sexy on screen, but I had to give it to him.
Like I was simping for Jung-se versus Hong Kyung.
Oh, I think he's so adorable. Like I love him. And mind you, the two performances that I've seen him in other things, but the two performances that I really, paid attention to him in Weak Class Hero and this, he's not playing adorable at all. So that's what's so funny to me. I think he's adorable, and yet he does not come off on screen at all as adorable. And I don't know where I'm getting that from, but I just love his face on screen, and I love his performances. I feel like he did amazing in this drama.
Yeah.
He did so well. And I mean, I don't know if he beat his Weak Class Hero performance, but I definitely think he's amazing. I think he's an amazing actor.
I will say that had it been two other weaker actors in Kim Tae-ri's position and Jung-se's position, Hong Kyung would have shined the show.
Yes! Yeah. I completely agree. You had Kim Tae-ri, you were going up against Jung-se. Yeah. I mean, you were gonna fall in the back. You were gonna fall to the back a little bit. Yeah. But he did hold his own. He did. He really did.
Going back to Kim Tae-ri and Jung-se, did I make up that they had chemistry?
I didn't even really put like thoughts to this, but now that I like went back over it, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think
I was like sensing something, and I was like, am I just not getting enough sleep lately? Or are they? there's something between them.
I don't know what it was that maybe it was because you know what I think it is? I think it's because I was viewing him in this very kind of like sexy professor turtleneck role. So I think I always was trying to push him in this kind of romantic space or sphere when it wasn't supposed to be. And so I completely agree.
What was he supposed to be, like 10 years older than her?
Yes,
maybe?
yes. He was definitely, I mean, wasn't even, he was younger than her father, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
But he
That's
was
like he's in a manageable enough
in
age,
a good age range. Yeah, like technically in the age range. Maybe she was like maybe like mid-20s or late 20s.
Mid-20s?
Mid-20s.
Yeah.
And he would probably be mid-30s pushing maybe
pushing 40 maybe?
40, pushing 40? Yeah.
Pushing, man, I don't know. So I was like,
I can't tell. Yeah. Because at some point when she visited him and like at the school that one time, I was like, she's giving off, could be one of his students. So I was taken aback. So I don't know. I don't know. But then at the end, the final scene, I was like, I can see it though. I can see it.
That's the thing.
Hey, you want to come in?
All right, we're on the other side of spoilers. So Lola, where do you want to start first? I think you had some qualms with the middle bit of the show.
Yes, but maybe we should start from the beginning so that we can separate like what went wrong.
It's okay. So
you know what? Because I feel like
I think I just got confused because there were so many different parts of lore that we were exploring with the other ghost stories. Like we found out about juvenile ghosts, and then we find out about Jung-se's
ghosts.
We find out about
the hungry ones.
Hungry ghosts. We find out about, which is also aka the begging ghost. We find out about the shamanic rituals, which, oh my god, what are those ghosts called? Wandering ghosts.
The wandering
had to
ones,
do with that one because that old lady freaking brought the wrath of all these wandering ghosts to her town.
The entire village. Yeah, the entire village. Traumatized.
So selfish. I think, okay, so here's the thing. I like the themes behind the ghost stories. Not necessarily them like going back and forth and figuring this out and, oh, this rock over here was touched by whatever and this tree over here represents this, all of these suicide ghosts and the children, and I'm like, it was too much, I think, for my little brain to comprehend all of Korean folklore in the span of several episodes. So this crash course was maybe not for me, but I liked that the ghosts and the people that they haunted and killed, it all came from like a very real place, right? It came from like that old lady, for instance. Hers was out of the need to see her dead daughter again, who committed suicide.
It was so sad. Yeah, it was actually really sad. Yeah, I felt really bad for her. And I understood why she wanted her daughter back. Yeah.
Exactly. You feel terrible for her. And what was cool was you had that scene of, what's his face, going to check on all of the old people in the town. And Hae-sung sees the ghost there. And he's like, whatever, elder, what is she in? Like, don't move. And she's like, I see her. And then you're like, oh my God, she can see the ghost. And then you're like, oh my God, it's her daughter. And then what she's seeing is wildly different than what Hae-sung is seeing. She's seeing a whole, not spooky daughter smiling and sitting in front of her at the dinner table. And I'm like, that's very touching.
But
exactly. But that daughter is dead and gone, and she does not look like that. Really, she's not looking like she was in life. So things like that were very emotional. But then seeing like how she summoned all of the ghosts and turned north to south or something using those waypoints.
Yes.
I was like, that's a lot. Like, she was like cutting herself and putting blood on the pole and like praying.
The blood,
and yes. I was like, ooh, she is messing with some dark-sided stuff to do that.
And he had to come undo it. Hae-sung had to come and undo all of that. So he had to cut himself and then do it the other way. It was just like,
then she assaulted him. Like, she She hit him
bashed
over the
him in the head. Yeah.
I was like, somebody get this lady out of here. Like, she is not doing well. Not doing well. So this is why I said earlier that it was very selfish of her. Because not only is it out of grief that she's doing this, but it's out of selfishness because she would rather damn the whole town and see her daughter. Like, everyone she ever knew, like, she grew up in that town. That vieja, like, was there her whole life. And thought, I don't care about my friends here. I care about the daughter that's already gone. More than the living people.
The people who are here with me. Exactly.
So she was very selfish. And that's the thing about a lot of these ghost stories, the ones where the ghosts were preying on the living people, was that they all had some kind of weakness, some sort of real thing that they were dealing with in their lives. And the ghosts would manipulate it and weasel their way in and kill them over different things.
Yep.
So, I don't know. Maybe it was also the fact that it was too much suicide.
That's what I was going to touch on. That's really what I was going to say.
Okay, you take over.
No, I was just going to say one of my big qualms with the middle of the drama was that it was just repetition. At the very beginning, the early opening episodes, when we get kind of introduced to the ghost, the wild-haired ghost, we see that the way that she possesses, she actually possesses people and then forces them to, kill themselves. And that's how she, gets her, revenge or whatever. And I was like traumatized by that. I was like, that is horrifying. And the thing of the people who get possessed by her are kind of like almost, aware of the fact that they're being possessed and in the process of killing themselves. So sad and scary. And so I was like, this is horrible. And this was in the beginning of the drama. And then after seeing that already once, seeing that multiple other times throughout this drama, I was like, okay, at some point, we gotta move on. I was getting really tired of seeing this repetition of the killings, of the suicidal possession killings. I thought that went on for way too long. Very heavy for it to go on that many different people. Like, she kills so many people like that. And I'm like,
so many people.
But while also we're watching the other ghost story. So that's
other
why
ghosts do the same thing.
Yes, I didn't
so
like
it's like
that.
double suicides.
Double suicide, like too much. And it was on repeat. So by a certain point, I wasn't as fearful of it. I wasn't as scared of it. I was just annoyed at a certain point. I was like, okay, another ghost taking over somebody's body and killing them. Okay, here's another one. And to me, that was the chunk of the middle that I believe really, I don't, like you said, it wasn't draggy because all of those kind of, ghosts of the day, those things, they move and you want to see the ending of that and the resolution of those, but connected to this greater story, which is finding out who is the ghost that has actually possessed our main character. That's what I was really wanting, I think, a little bit more of the focus of throughout that middle of the drama. Because I feel like the beginning, we started that search, that journey of like, who is this ghost that has attached herself to our main character, and then we get the reveal at the very, very end. So that was the kind of culmination of like, okay, that was the story that I really wanted to know. But I only got that in the beginning really, and then at the end. And the middle was a whole bunch of other things that kind of started to feel repetitive. So I had a lot of trouble with that. I did.
And then I think I got confused with who the ghost. I know who the ghost is, but like, who created the ghost? Was it the grandmother? Yes. Am I right?
Yeah. So yes,
I have that right?
You're right. The grandmother created the ghost, but it was like her family created. It was her and her husband created the ghost because they were falling on hard times, and so they wanted to keep their money, their wealth. So it was greed. And like you said, it was what they believed they needed so that they can continue to keep growing their wealth. And that was that was,
but then it would curse their family, right? Like they knew going into it.
Yes.
The shaman was like, this is going to curse your family for generations. Like, you can't get out from underneath this curse. And they were like, we're still going to do it.
Oh, well, we're still going to do it. And
we want money more than anything.
But it was the grandmother, like you said, who really was the driving force behind it. Because even when like her husband was trying to pull out of it and he was like, I can't do this anymore. Then her son, I can't do this anymore. She did not care. She was like, I don't care. You better keep this ghost in this family, so help you. So yes, she was definitely the real villain in this story, if you think about it.
And the ghost possessed everyone but her. Am I right?
Everybody but her. It possessed I think it was following like the men in the family. Like it was I think it was her husband first, and then it was her son. And I think it was supposed to eventually be her grandson and his mother, Haesung. And so it was his mother who ends up dying. Remember when she tries to like seal the ghost and everything and goes on the run with her son? That was her trying to prevent that from happening. And
so she did, though, because Haesung was spared. And then the grandmother held it against him that he didn't get possessed and die for the fam.
Exactly. So just the grandmother was the evil one, the most selfish of them all. There was no redeeming qualities about her, even to the very end. And I was going to say, I was like, okay, did she feel too like one note, of a character? She was her villain self all the way through. But I did kind of like that at the very end there, she did have this moment where she kind of gives them the final clue of like how to get rid of her. She gives them the coup de grace. Yes, exactly. She does. So I'm like,
the finger.
Even though, the finger. It's just the finger. It was the finger the whole time.
So all she needed to do the whole time was chop off her finger and give it to her grandson so that he could just light it on fire. Oh, yeah, that was it. Was so simple, I guess.
So simple. So that's what's funny too. But I think what was so like to me the best part of this drama, besides the performances, was the backstory of the ghost, of like how she actually became. Mm-hmm. It was so quick.
Listen to it.
So it was so quick. It happened, like I said, they revealed it right at the very end. But it's after we get the twist, the reveal that in the beginning of the drama, then they start to investigate who this ghost is that has attached itself to our Sang-young character. We are believing we're following this little girl from back in the 1950s, I believe, 1958. This little girl in this family, and we think she's the ghost. And we're like, okay, she has every right to be the ghost because she gets brutally sacrificed at a ritual, a shaman ritual. And so obviously she's this ghost who has, this possessed Sang-young. However, at some point we get a twist where it's not actually this little girl the entire time that we thought it was. It's actually her sister. And her sister, and it's something about like second-borns, and her sister's the real one. It was
this whole thing about second-borns or sacrificial.
And she ended up lying about being the second-born in a way by sending her sister to this ritual when really she was supposed to be the one to go to this ritual. And the whole reason they were doing this ritual was for money. They were from a very poor fisherman kind of family background, and she was because she was poor, and I remember, was she in school, I believe, and she had a crush on her art teacher. She was really good at art, but she felt like she didn't have, and she didn't even have enough money to buy the art supplies. So we just get this backstory of this really sad, poor girl who ends up doing something really selfish, which is because she wanted money, she wanted her family to have money, she sends her sister off to be sacrificed in this ritual. And the minute she realizes that this is what she has done, she tries to pull out of it. She tries to return the money and say, hey, no.
Well, it's not even that she felt bad about her sister dying. It was like the whole family died after.
Everybody started dying. Her mother committed suicide. Everybody started dying. I mean, it was so traumatic for her. So she's like, oh, I got to undo this whole thing, take the money back. But what ends up happening is she gets caught by the shaman, and it turns into her sister gets killed anyway, but so does she. And her seeing her sister die, her family dying, all of this in the way that she dies, it turns her into this vengeful spirit, which is what they needed in the first place. It was like almost like a trick from the shaman perspective of like, we don't really need your, little kind of your little sister who's just like la di da, going into this ritual, getting sacrificed. We need someone to have this vengeful spirit about them, and all that she ended up doing was the one who actually turned into the vengeful spirit. And so watching that whole story play out to me was so interesting. I mean, I was so intrigued by it. I was horrified by it, but I also really felt for her because it wasn't that she was, evil by nature, obviously. But it did show her as kind of immature and selfish and, and silly and dumb in a way that she thought,
very naive.
Not very, very naive. And so I like that we got to see that character, but then we also get to see her when she is the ghost that's possessing Sang-young, and we get to see this immaturity, this youthfulness, this kind of like girl who just wants to be liked by a guy. When she has an interaction with Jung-se, and he notices that it's not a little girl. She's older than a little girl. He's like, this isn't a little girl. She's giving teenager vibes. And so I really loved all of that reveal. And to me, that came too late in a way. I feel like I wanted to see a little bit more of her story fleshed out, and not necessarily that they didn't show everything, but taking its time to reveal that a little bit more. And that would have taken away from all of that repetitive killing of the ghost and the ghost of the day. I think that would have been nice if we would have pulled that in more to the middle of the drama instead of just holding it off to the very, very end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a big emphasis on finding out who the ghost was and knowing her name.
Oh, yes.
Which felt very familiar to me because that's something that's part of usual possession movies and stuff, especially with I think it's in Catholicism, which I'm not a Catholic, so I feel bad in trying to explain this, but they need the name of the demon to cast it out, to be able to cast it out. I mean, this is
terrifying.
Whatever. But it is terrifying. It's terrifying. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I get this. They need to find out her name in order to cast her out, get rid of her. I don't think that I necessarily ever sympathized with the ghost. Oh, I think her name is Hyung-yi.
Hyung-yi, yep.
But I thought she was really interesting.
Yes, I really love that story. Yes.
Yeah. Where you're like, I want to know more about this ghost. Can we sit down and have a conversation?
Yes.
Because she is giving.
I completely agree. I think that was to me, a highlight of this drama was to be this ending, this reveal of the actual ghost and who she was. And even this, I mean, there's a trickster element to the ghost, obviously. A lot of the things that she does is very tricky, and she's doing things on purpose so that she can get her way. And I love that. I still love that. Even like you said, there's nothing that you can say you really liked about her as far as oh, yeah, I completely sympathize. I understand why she's killing so many people. Never can I say that. But I did feel like she was interesting. I did want to know more about her. Even when she possessed Sang-young, and she pretends to be her to her own mother, Sang-young's mother.
Uh-huh.
And it was her
cool.
That was cool. And it was her wanting a mother figure, wanting to be a daughter again.
Right. At the end of the day, Hyung-yi wanted, she was selfish.
She was.
But I don't think she was necessarily evil.
Exactly.
If that makes any sense, because she had no redeeming qualities. Just like the grandmother, she was not very redeemable. But she wasn't this heartless, she wasn't heartless. You could tell that she wanted things. Yes. And really, her goal in possessing all of these people was to stick around and live a life.
Yes. That was it. She died too soon. Yeah, she's I died too soon. She died too soon. Yeah.
And she just thought, oh, if I live such a terrible life, I'm going to get one that I want to live for, and I'm going to steal it from other people.
And that's all she was doing. That's literally what she was doing the entire time. And I don't, it's like you said, there's something good about that. I wanted her to go by the end of the drama. Trust me. I wanted her to go away. She gotta go. She has to go. Get rid of her.
Bring in security.
Yes, bring in security, please. But I did feel something at some point. I think what really got me, I think one of the scenes that really stood out to me the most was when our detective, he recognizes her, at the carnival, like running around. She's like wanting to play and take, win games. And it was just, and she was kind of flirting with him, and, she wanted to flirt with him and all of that. And I was like, oh, she just wants to be, a teenage girl.
Yeah, she's very extroverted. She's got nothing to lose. So every time she has interactions with other people, it's not that she's not reading the nonverbal cues in the room. It's that she's blowing past them and blowing past all of the social stop signs and throwing wine on people and calling people out for their bullshit and aggressively flirting with people. Like, you're like, oh, this is it's an extrovert maybe, but maybe a step beyond that. Like, it's just a wild person.
Yes, she was a wild. I mean, which makes sense. I mean, to think that she's been living through these people and living through these people, she's been terrorizing others and killing others. It's like you're dealing with a mad woman.
They said that the reason why she gains so much power over these people as well is that she's giving them what they want. Exactly. And so she's like killing off people they don't like, and giving them money, giving them power, prestige, whatever they desire, she's helping them get it. But at the same time, when she's just there at the carnival, or she derives joy from the most heinous things as well.
Yeah. So it's like it's a weird contrast to see her, like you said, she's the one that's like possessing people and causing them to jump off of buildings. But then at the same time, you see her running and playing games at a carnival and winning a teddy bear. You're like, oh, so cute.
Ghost is having a theme park day.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, it was a weird.
With Plan B emergency contraception, we're in control of our future. It's backup birth control you take after unprotected sex that helps prevent pregnancy before it starts. It works by temporarily delaying ovulation, and it won't impact your future fertility. Plan B is available in all 50 U.S. states at all major retailers near you, with no ID, prescription, or age requirement needed. Together, we've got this. Follow Plan B on Insta at Plan B One Step to learn more. Use as directed.
Thing, but I like that I had that feeling of like, what? This is a evil ghost. Like, why am I enjoying that she's getting a little bit of time to like live out her little vicariously through this, this person's body that she's possessing? Why am I okay with that sometimes?
She's never been chosen, right? Yes. I think that was part of her backstory, was that she was always this second-rate
and person. I think that's why.
And the one time that she's chosen is to die. Sacrifice.
To die. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to say I related to her, but I did feel some kind of way because as a middle child, as a second born child,
you're a second born.
It ran deep. It ran deep. I felt her. I was like, you know what? Send your little sister off to go ahead. I'm just kidding. I would never do that to my little sister. But no, I do. I felt there was this, like you said, this second rateness that you felt from her. I mean, besides her entire family being just kind of like from this poor village, being poverty
stricken.
But still, she was talented. She was an artist. She could draw. She had these other qualities that, like, okay, if she could just get the chance to have those things that others have, she could be a better person, maybe,
yeah.
But you're right. The one time she gets chosen, it's to die. So why wouldn't she be a vengeful ghost? I mean, I would too.
I hate to say I get it, but like that's why she's out here like causing so much harm out of spite and bitterness.
Exactly.
And then also she gets what she wants, right? She wants to live vicariously through these people and just take over and get what she couldn't have.
So now that you brought that up, let's talk about this part, because I think this was something that I highlighted when I talked about this drama that bothered me a little bit. This notion that, yes, if you allow this ghost to possess you or your family, you get the opportunity to get what you want, right? And the main one is that this family wants wealth. So they allow her to possess their family and curse their family so that they can always have wealth. My problem was that they revealed this is the same with our Song Young character and her father. and why they allowed the ghost to possess them at some point. Because they have a disease that's causing them to go blind slowly. Mm-hmm. So for Sun Young's father, who is the first person who, out of before her, is possessed by this ghost and killed by him, we find out throughout the drama that he actually at some point allows her to possess him and to stay with him on purpose, because he finds out that he's going blind, and she promised him, hey, I'll let you, not go blind if you keep me around. So then, and it's a hereditary disease, we find out, because Sun Young also has this and discovers this. So when the ghost is possessing her, she finds this out, that her father was allowing the ghost to jump onto her basically for the same reason. So she had the opportunity to continue to see and not go blind. And I did not like that at all. And I didn't like it.
Really?
I hated it because to me, it cheapened how it compared the grandmother and her family being super evil and villainous and wanting money, and wealth to someone who's actually really scared about going blind. Like, that's two separate things for me.
I see. The reason, I think that's the evilness of it.
And I hated that. I was like, I don't like that they made our Sun Young character and her father turn into people that decide to keep this ghost in their life for the little period that they do because they don't want to go blind. Like that temptation of not wanting to go blind. And I just feel like that was not in the same caliber of someone who's doing it because
it wasn't greed. It's a different
type greed. It's not greed. It's like, I'm literally scared. I don't want to go blind. So you're telling me that, okay, you won't go blind if you can stay here. Maybe. Like, I can't be mad at her, really. I can't be mad at her father too much. But this evil grandmother who just wants to accumulate all the money in the world, that's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Like, I didn't like that they compared those two in a way. I don't know. I didn't like the blind element. I think
it's a part of the psychological obstacles that these characters have to overcome, right? That it's a lot about confronting your demons, inner demons, and I don't mean demons literally, because we got to differentiate, but, confronting your inner demons and the things that make you afraid and coming to terms with them.
And I completely agree with that. But I feel like what they should have done, and I think they were supposed to do, and what they were doing, but it wasn't as, I think, clear, was like with the Sun Young character, when we first meet her, she's struggling to make ends meet with her mom. She's like going kind of through the motions in her life. And there's something very pitiful about her character, in that she just feels like down on her luck, and it's like, what's the point in a way? And I think throughout the drama we start to see her, not want to not live anymore, but remember when she like switches places and she gets in the shadow and she's like fighting to like come out of that. Like, it, to me, that was supposed to highlight this kind of what she really was afraid of, what she really was fighting. It wasn't that she was like, oh, I'll go blind. I think it was about this need to not think that your life isn't worth it. Like, your life is still worth it, even if you're struggling to make ends meet and you're like still figuring out what you're going to do in your life, and you're not and when you go back to your friends, the class reunion, and everybody else is wealthy and off and doing well, and you're not, that doesn't mean you're less of a person. So I felt like she had a lot of other things that she was dealing with that the ghost could have exploited, and it not her going blind.
I see what
you see what I mean? I guess that's what it is.
I totally get it. And that you're right, that when she was in that shadow place or whatever that that
shadow
other
place.
Dimension that the ghost sent her to while she had full possession of her body for those days, and she was fighting against herself.
Yes.
She kind of had this realization that it wasn't so much that she was going blind. That wasn't even the case at all. No. That she, in those flashback scenes and stuff, she was saying that she had never lived for herself. She had always been providing for other people, being on other people's timetable, surviving, like you said. And in this fight that she's having with herself, which is really the ghost who's fighting with her, but the ghost has her face and whatever. So it's like she's fighting herself. She realizes that she's been the issue all along and that she brought the darkness on herself.
Exactly.
Like basically gave the ghost an opening.
Exactly.
Through which to torment her, like with her own insecurities and her own weaknesses. And if she decides that those aren't weaknesses and that she is going to live differently and that she has a reason to live to change her life and, you know, live for herself and all that shit, that's enough to gain control over the ghost.
Exactly. And we get that at the very end. At the very end again. So I mean, I don't know. I didn't think they needed the blind plot, basically. I don't think
the blind plot. Well, you get some interesting scenes where she's trying to like pass off that she's not blind.
Yeah, that I mean,
so I guess it's more of a shock factor that they wanted.
I didn't need it. I didn't.
And they needed some contrived reason for her dad.
For her dad, exactly, right? You're right.
Who the ghost was, what the ghost was capable of, and how it was terrorizing people. For him to allow this ghost into his life.
And to his daughter's life. Because, again, we didn't touch on the fact that he passed this ghost down like it was a family heirloom. He was like, here's to you, my daughter, the possession of this ghost.
I thought, did they ever say that he did that by mistake or that was
no? I think it was on purpose. It was a part of his plan.
Think it was on purpose?
Because remember when they're in the village and she sees her dad's ghost for like a very short period and he's apologizing to her, and I think that was the revelation, was that we had to find out why he was apologizing to her, and then it comes in through his backstory of like how learning that it was hereditary and things like that. I think it was his plan that in case my daughter also experiences this, I want to pass this on to her, because specifically her paternal grandmother, when she handed her the little cursed object, she's like, your father wanted you to have this. Like, it was legit, like, your father wanted you to have this. And I don't think that was the ghost. I think that was the grandmother really passing on what the father wanted her to pass on. I don't know. It could have been.
What's the deal?
I thought it was like he passed it on.
So I see what you're saying. I think it was him too, hearing you talk about it. What the hell is up with the mothers in this show? Every single mom is
there was a problem.
Up,
yeah.
Okay.
Her mom.
There was a problem.
One of my biggest issues in the beginning of this drama was her mom, because her father dies and she comes to Sun Young and says, hey, your father's dead. We need to go to his funeral. And Sun Young's like,
and she's like, hold on. I thought he was already dead.
Who? My already dead father is dead? What do you mean? And then the entire time, she's not explaining this. She's not saying why she's lied to her daughter the entire time about her father being dead, that she could have had a relationship with her father, and she's like, why wouldn't you let me know that? None of that. And then when Sun Young walks out of the funeral, where her father's home with this cursed object, and her mother sees her holding it and she like slaps it out of her hand. Even then, she doesn't explain. Like, she just like slaps it out of her hand. It's like, don't touch anything in here.
Half the shit that happens to her daughter is her
fault
to me, because she never explained.
Anything.
She knew what was happening.
Yes, the entire time. Her own mother died because of this. Like, why wouldn't you tell your daughter? Her grandmother died because of this. Like,
I thought that it was so weak of her to be this like shriveled up, nervous wreck of a person that she couldn't get through her trauma enough to save her daughter's life.
It made no sense.
You know what I'm saying?
It made no sense.
Like, pull it the fuck together.
She's going to
like
be
enough
cursed
to
forever.
Say what the hell is
yes!
I know.
I don't understand that. Like, you ran from your husband because of this and made him, like, killed him off to you and your daughter because of this.
Yes.
And then when it comes back into your life, you don't explain it to your daughter? That logically doesn't make sense. I mean, she's being tormented by this ghost, and you're not letting her in on this at all. She has to find everything out on her own. Even when she like finds out that her mom lived in a town that she didn't even know she lived in.
Mom's like, are you there right now? Leave.
Leave.
No explanation.
No explanation.
Still
Just nothing. Nothing. So I was really annoyed with her mom. I completely agree. The mothers were,
I hated the mom.
Interesting.
The only time that she redeemed herself was like at the end when she immediately knew that wasn't her daughter.
Yes, she knew. She was like, that's not
I was like,
her.
okay,
yeah,
okay.
Now you know. And even when she was like being a little bit brave to some extent, despite her kind of like, she has like a anxiety disorder, right? Like, again, something else layered they had on top of these characters. So she had anxiety disorder. And she was like, so
everybody got multiple
issues. It's like, okay, not only are we like poor and struggling, I have an anxiety disorder. I'm possessed by a ghost. I can't keep a job. I'm possessed by a ghost. Like, I cannot. It was too much. It was just too much. But yeah, I did say, like, I like that in the end there, she finally had a little burst of like, I'm going to fight this, like I'm not going to just allow myself to be taken down alongside my daughter, because obviously she was going to let her daughter be taken down if she wasn't going to tell her what's going on. So yeah, at the very end, she had a little bit, oomph to her step, but it took her a while to get there.
And then Hae-sung's grandmother, who is a living terror.
She is an actual demon herself. So there's that.
An actual like ghostly bitch, because she allowed it all to happen.
Yes.
It sanctioned it. I think she was actually pleased when one of the victims died, was sacrificed. Didn't they show her
smiling, like giggling?
Smiling?
Yeah, absolutely. She was demonic.
Demented.
Exactly. And actually, what's even worse, her son, Hae-sung's father, I forget, she literally let him die, like he was thirsty, remember? Like something where he like was dehydrated. She
let him starve to death.
She let her own son starve to death because she wanted this ghost to stay around. What? She had the audacity to even tell, like, remember when they tricked her into revealing the name? And she even is like, so she thinks she's talking to the ghost, and she's like, I made a promise to you, so I'll never tell your name. I'll never say I made a promise. You made a promise to a ghost? Not your own children, grandson? A ghost? Like, she was like, I've never saw her so, like, grandmotherly or motherly, except for the moment she's, like, begging this ghost. Like, I was sick
Are
of
you
her.
out of your mind?
Are you out of your mind? She was.
Are you out of your mind?
That's why when she was in the hospital room and like locked up and like the ghost comes to take care of her, I was like, go ahead, take care of her.
Go ahead, take her. Like, send her far away.
I mean, literally, did she like jump out the window? Did she like she jumped out the window?
She jumped out the window.
Yeah. Yep.
And then she uses the glass from the window as she's laying on the concrete to chop her own finger off.
Yep. That was the sign. That was the signal to him to find the finger. Because it wasn't her finger. It was...
find the other...
Yeah, the ghost it was Han Young's finger. Because when they find her body buried in the grandmother's home, remember, she's missing a finger. The dead ghost's body is missing a finger. And they're like, you got to find that finger. That's it. The finger. I don't know why that's funny to me.
So crazy.
That figure. But I like that ending,
because
I did like the ending.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Her wailing as well, the screaming from the ghost, like as she's being forced to set her own finger on fire. Oh,
loved it.
So good.
But I also love
it's so satisfying.
The whole thing of like her becoming, defeating the ghost while still being not in still being possessed. Like she was still in the shadow place, but she was able, like you said,
I don't even know what that was.
I don't even know what that was, but she was able to reconcile that I have the control of over all of this. I have the control to take this ghost down, to not be possessed by this ghost anymore. And I liked all of that at the end. I thought it was a great final scene. So not final scene, but final scene for the ghost. I actually really liked that. Because I think I liked just the whole thing with the ghost. I liked the ending. I liked all of that.
Yep. My gosh. Speaking of Haunting of Hill House, which I'm sure a lot of people have watched that show. It's on Netflix. It's like very well known. But anyway, because I was rewatching it earlier today, they said this sentence and I was like, oh, this is so great. They said, one of the characters said in the final episode of Haunting of Hill House, they said, ghosts are guilt, ghosts are secrets, ghosts are regrets and failings, but most times a ghost is a wish.
A wish. There it is. There it is.
And I was like, oh, that's actually really relevant to Revenant.
Very relevant. I mean, it's exactly what Revenant was discussing.
Yeah.
Is the idea of like you holding on to that, the hope, a wish for something, and you not having that, or you allowing that allowing that not having something to kind of keep you
around.
Yeah, that's
sustain you.
Yeah, that is. I like what they addressed in the Revenant. I like what they were discussing. I like what they were really taking a look at. I appreciated it. I really did. I just feel like they could have done that without the ghost of the week.
I agree. Did you think that Haesung's little friend was a ghost? I immediately thought that was a ghost. Like the kid?
Did I? Yeah, it was weird that he was hanging out with a kid. I was like, why is he hanging out with a high school student? I didn't understand that. So then I was like, oh, he's not real. He's a ghost. He's seeing a ghost. So I ended up liking how they used his character in the end there. But I didn't realize he was going to be not evil, but like he ended up being like a problem child, and why he became this ghost. But I thought it was unique that he stayed in his life and he kind of kept him by his side. I thought he would have kind of wanted to do away with him, but I think he felt guilt.
Yeah. So
that's why he kept him around. So I like the ghost stories individually, but like as a whole, like I feel like it detracted.
You're just blinded by a lot of death.
Yes.
And you don't want to necessarily become desensitized to it.
And you are by a certain point, for sure. You are. People jumping out of the window means nothing by the time you see it.
You're like, oh, there goes the ghost on him. There he goes. And same thing with Kim Won-hae's character. I didn't think that they would kill him off. That's a very big actor for them to Chris Brown.
I will say this. I thought it was, I'm not going to say I thought it was good that they killed him off, but I actually was like, okay, I appreciated that they did it, because I felt like it lit a fire under his partner, because I feel like he was still
because he was almost like a non-believer.
Yes, almost close to the end until that happened. He was fighting against it, so help him, And I think that he needed a wake-up call, and that was the only thing that he could possibly, because he was there when he saw this happen. So I'm like, that was the only way you can believe something that's horrible is taking place in your kind of day-to-day human world. He had to see it for himself. So I didn't, like, it was huge that killed him off, but I didn't mind it. I thought they did it. It was a good choice. I thought it was a good choice.
I just realized that I said they Chris Browned him. Do you know what I mean
when
I say
they
that?
Chris Browned him? What?
Yeah.
Because you said they killed him off?
So earlier I invoked Chris Brown, and it's because of the movie Stomp the Yard.
Oh my gosh. I barely remember. I watched that movie once, the maybe in the theater when it dropped, and then like never have seen or thought of that movie since. Are you serious? Stomp the Yard?
So I actually
Chris found him? Stomp the Yard? Oh, I haven't thought about that in years.
Because that movie, first of all, I really like that movie, but second of all, that unironically, I like Stomp the Yard. So that movie is so famous. I remember people going, "Oh my God, Chris Brown's in the movie." Mind you, I was in middle school. This was so many years ago, before Chris Brown got canceled, and they were like, "I can't wait to go see Chris Brown in this movie." Chris Brown gets killed in like the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. I mean, I did see the movie, but I didn't know people were like so excited to see him in it and super disappointed. Yeah. I mean, I saw the movie. I was a huge Chris Brown fan even when he first came out. So
because he was in like all the marketing and stuff.
He
for
was.
The movie, trailers, and people were like, "Ooh."
You're right. He was. That's so funny.
A dancing movie, and Chris Brown's in it. People were like losing their minds.
He gets killed off in the beginning.
He killed him.
He said they Chris Brown. They did not Chris Brown him though, because he was in a big chunk of the drama. Come on.
Right.
He was.
Right.
You said they Chris
Brown. But he wasn't in the Endgame episodes at all.
He wasn't.
He got killed.
He didn't get to see the end of this ghost, which he had been chasing for a really long time. So you're right. It's kind of sad that he didn't get to see the end of this ghost.
No. And going back to San-young's dad, who was possessed, it looked like he was possessed when she was a child still.
Yes.
So Kim Tae-ri's character was still like 5 years old, and the dad's already possessed.
And it's because...
So you're saying he was possessed for like 20 years.
That's terrifying. But he is.
Because he only died recently, right?
And the thing is, I think there was... I guess that's why he hadn't gone blind. You know, he was like, I'm going to keep her. I'm not going blind.
Very true.
That's why he was still able to see. But you're absolutely right, because wasn't there something about this being the second born? Like was he afraid of like her getting pregnant again? Or like, I think there was something that's why his wife.
Yeah, they didn't explain that, right?
Because
about the other child that was coming.
Yeah.
That was obviously the second born.
Yes.
Kim Tae-ri's sibling. And then the baby died.
That's right. So they didn't go into detail about that, but I guess we were supposed to just chop that up to the second born thing again and him being afraid of that. Because is that when did he kill his wife's mother?
It was right after, like, she comes back from the hospital after she's postpartum.
Yeah, losing the baby. Yeah.
Losing the baby, and she finds her mom at the well, and the mom's like, stay back, get away from him.
Terrifying.
And she kills herself, and she was touched by the evil spirit.
So yeah, he had been possessed a long
but it was
time.
part of I guess the ghost wanting to do things for him, because he overheard them talking in the hospital after she lost the baby that, you got to get away from him. She was like advising her daughter to
leave him.
Divorce him.
Yes. And so she was like, oh no.
To leave him.
You got to go.
So the ghost was like, oh, perfect. I can get more power over him by killing his mother-in-law and
his wife leaving. So then all she had to do was stay with him and not having to worry about his wife. Yeah. She stayed with him for a long time.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah. The ghost was with the dad for at least 20 years.
That's probably the longest. I mean, I think it makes, but you know what? Actually, that makes sense. Besides the fact that, see, again, my other reason why I'm like, him going blind.
But then why the urgency? But then why the urgency in the very first episode where you see the dad like scrambling to get in the house and put
tried
up, like,
to get rid of her at one point. Remember, like I think that was his phase of trying to get rid of her, because it was about collecting those objects, and he had gotten close to it. But then she killed him right at the very end where he hadn't finished collecting the objects. So she was always...
I see. So he was provoking her basically by trying to get rid of her.
But he had her for a long time prior to that, though. Like, if you think about it, like... Well,
yeah.
So, but my thing is still the whole going blind thing. It's not necessary still, because... I know, Jess, you're over me and talking about the blindness. Because the whole thing is like, it makes sense that he... specifically wants to keep a ghost around who's from this specific period, because he is a folklore professor himself. This is of an interest to him. So it's still to him, he has motivations to kind of be digging deep into this past, this case and this history of this ghost. Like, all of that is still intriguing to him enough to keep a ghost around, not him going blind. So even again, like towards the end when he's trying to get rid of her, why? I thought you needed her because you were going blind. You know, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get that. I don't get it. What was his realization of I can't keep her around anymore. I need to get rid of her. What was it for him that triggered it?
Because after 20 years, like, what's another 20?
Yeah, what triggered
with
that?
The ghost?
Did they show us? Was it him not maybe having a relationship with his family? Maybe, I don't know. Weird. They didn't really go through that. They didn't explain that. Yeah. Or maybe I missed it. I don't know. I could have missed it.
Well, do you have anything else in your notes that you wanted to
I think we hit everything on my notes. I think we hit more
than
on my notes. More than my notes, I think.
Yeah. I think I'll say my least favorite ghost of the day story was the apartment building ghost. Well, it wasn't haunting the apartment building. It's just that everyone in the apartment building was getting fish.
Yes.
That were
possessed.
Yes! And then the fish were killing off the new owners.
It wasn't like students.
I was
in
like what?
It was like students, wasn't it? Like in this like apartment.
So it was a loan shark that was targeting these poor college kids that were living in one of these like shitty ass dorms with cheap housing for them to study. And he was like making them sign these slave contracts in order to give them money. And then he owned an aquarium business. And so every time he signed a new contract with one of these kids, he would give them a fish. But the first girl, like one of the girls, had this possessed photograph.
Exactly. That was crazy.
Of the tree that was in the town.
The suicide ghosts. Yeah, the kids were hanging from. I mean, that was too much. That was too much.
That was terrifying. They were like, oh yeah, the ghosts of kids. They would hang these. They wouldn't bury the children.
Okay, I'm getting afraid all over again.
They would hang them.
I'm getting scared.
They would hang them in these
tree
containers on this tree. And I was like, oh my God, that is wild. And then, so this photograph was haunted. And then she, to get rid of any evidence that she had family, ripped up the family photograph with the tree in it and fed it to the fish. The fish got possessed. Then the fish were given out to the students. That's why I was like getting confused. I was like, this is a lot.
And that's why like there was too much ghost on the day. There was no, I mean, it was too much because that was an intense ghost story for it to be just smacked in the middle of this story that was already intense. We already had an intense ghost story to worry about.
It didn't need it.
Like it didn't need it.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying like there was a lot of stuff that I just didn't jive with, but I do appreciate this quote. Humans are more terrifying than ghosts.
Yes. And that was that Sun Young?
Ooh,
yes, because
I think it was his song, maybe.
Because I remember the part.
It's episode 2.
I think it's episode 2, and I think it was.
I can't remember.
Remember when when they were basically with the young boy ghost, and how his own family was like basically had killed, like it was horrible. And so when
that was
whole
a whole other story. See? With the child abuse,
and it was locked the little girl in she was locked up. It was so sad. And so like that was a moment I think when they were like, this is more horrifying than a ghost. The little boy, I mean, her brother was trying to save his sister. Like he was a ghost trying to save his sister. Not, he
basically killed himself to put the spotlight on his family so that they would save the little sister who was being literally kept in like a room and fed scraps and just really maltreated.
And I think that was another
point. It was a case.
Huge. It was a horrible case. And I think that was another element to this story of like, at the end of the day, the only reason evil ghost can even exist is because of the evilness of humans. That's the only way that ghosts came to be. And even the girl who herself becomes a ghost, like she would have never been this vengeful ghost had they not wanted to, as in the grandmother was not evil and wanted money and greed, and so she created a vengeful ghost. Like that would have never existed. So it did kind of circle back
on purpose.
It circled back around to like that's the reason this even exists. It's because of evilness in humans.
It's gross. It's foul.
That is actually really cool that it's not cool, but I do like that is a big element to like ghost stories or like stories about demons. It's like this only comes to be once something causes this. Like this ghost is not like just created out of thin air. This like as in this evil ghost or like this demon isn't just kind of created out of thin air. There's usually some kind of horrible backstory that kind of triggers the evil to continue.
Yeah. And
I think that's always interesting that when a story kind of analyzes that. So, yeah.
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 So, I forgot to ask you what you rated this show out of 5 soju bottles. So, if you want to do that now, I'll give my score.
I think I would have originally, I think, gave it a 4. Like 4 soju bottles, because just the performance is just so good, And so strong. And I love the beginning and the end so much. But I will say that it's just too much in the middle there that just isn't exactly what I wanted it to be. So it's like bordering like 3.5 soju bottles. Like I'm going to be a little rough with it, I think. Again, I struggle with ratings. So this is really kind of arbitrary. So I don't know, maybe I give it 5 soju bottles.
No,
I think maybe 3.5.
I feel you, and I'm also going to give it a 3.5 soju bottles because the child abuse case, the tree and the fish, like all this stuff is sort of like there's more where that came from, and it's very convoluted. And I don't know, maybe if I was Korean from the homeland, I would understand it better because that's my culture. I understand
folklore.
this folklore. But I don't. And I've watched a lot of stuff, but this was very different. It was very targeted. And I'm not going to say it was a bad show. It's not a bad show. It just was not perfect.
Completely agree.
And if you're this is really late to be saying this, but if you're triggered by suicide, child abuse, all these things, don't watch. But if you can stomach it, I would recommend the show. It's a decent ghost story. Multiple ghost stories.
There is a mystery that you get to follow, and you at some point you have to see the end. You have to see you have to see the reveal of the mystery. So I think that is enough to kind of say that is a good watch, as in you'll get through it. You will see it to the end. But there are some points there that may take you out of it a little bit and feel a little slow. But yeah, it's worth it. It is if you can stomach it.
Thank you so much for coming on so last minute, Lola, and being really flexible with your time. Where can people find you online?
I am on Instagram, Lola Pops Off About K-Dramas, and I have a website, blog, lolapopsoffaboutKdramas.com. And of course, you can find my podcast anywhere that you listen to podcasts. I hope to see you guys over on that side, over on my side. And I am so grateful, as always, to be a guest here on Daebak. I am always like, the pressure is on. But I felt like, it always feels like pressure because I'm like, this is I'm like stepping on a big stage here, and I just got to make sure I, don't bomb stage. The spotlight's on. No, but I love being on here with you each time, Jess. You make it so much fun. We laugh a lot. It's always a blast. So thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so glad you feel that way. This is not a stage. There's no pressure, I swear. Like, I'm in my pajamas right now.
All your listeners, I just want, that stage. Yes. You make it so chill and laid back when we're talking. And then I'm like, wait a second. Other people are going to hear this. It's not just me and Jess chatting and having a good time. It's like other people are going to actually listen to us. So I remember that like right at the end there, like, oh gosh, did I say anything weird or wrong? Offensive? Did I? But no.
Oh my God. No. You're totally good. And I can't wait to have you back, Lola. And for me to maybe go on your podcast,
I have such a hard time gathering the courage to ask people to be on my podcast, but then also the scheduling is just like mayhem. So I'm always like, I don't want to.
You don't have to tell me how crazy it is to schedule podcasts. It is the worst. Yeah, it's
the scheduling
really hard.
It's like I don't want to like jump in when it's like a busy time for people, and then I'm like, I don't want you to feel pressure to say no if you need to, So I'm always like I'm like it's like jump roping, like double dutch, like I'm like always going to do it, and then I like find some way to not jump in, and like so yeah, I gotta do it. I gotta do more. I gotta have more guests on. I would love to have you as a guest.
In the meantime, go and follow Lola and listen to her podcast. She is so great, and she watches so many currently airing dramas. I know you guys want me to watch every currently airing drama. I'm sorry that I can't, but Lola does her damnedest to watch everything that comes out. Yeah. You're really good about that. So she's a great resource and a great friend to chat dramas with as well. So I think that's it. That's it for spooky season. Thank you for being here. And that's been our show. I'm Jessica, and this has been the Daebak K-Rambles Podcast.